Tom Springer.
Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. My name is Tom Springer. If you are looking at the Bearded One, it is 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 3 out in Hawaii, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. tomorrow out in Indonesia, and about 9 a.m. to noon tomorrow out in Australia. Welcome everybody to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. My name is Tom Springer. I'm the host of the show. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so welcome back to everybody who's coming to join me here. If you're a first-time guest, thank you for showing up. I hope you enjoy the show. This is one I do every so often. It's just called an open mic night, which is literally people asking me questions, and I answer what I can. If you are a repeat offender, also known as my family, welcome back. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've been here, so welcome back, and I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you brought questions. So, first and foremost, let me just kind of clear up some air here. I kind of screwed tonight up. In a real roundabout way. I thought I had a guest coming on, and that person never responded to me in time for me to build an advertisement, so I decided to do an open mic night. And then it turned out I had the wrong guest coming on because I was looking at the wrong week. So and that person reached out to me, and they are going to be coming on. Hello, Miss Laura. How are you? And they will be coming on the first show in January, which will be January 5th. Excuse me. The person coming on the show that I was supposed to have on today, but I totally screwed it up, is Chris DeCesare, also known as the Ghost Boy. If you haven't had a chance to go out and watch the film, the real life documentary on him, I would highly suggest it. It's very good. It gives a great introduction to him, and lets you know how his story, how it started, where he's going, and everything else. And he's going to be coming on my show January 5th. So this is my last, I'm going to say this the correct way. Hi, Primal. How are you? I'm going to say this the correct way. This is my last scheduled show for 2025. And I say scheduled because after this week, I'm off of work for a while, and I won't be going back for a little bit. So I may just happen to pop in every once in a while just to kind of see what's going on, see who's out there, maybe do another show like this just to see who's out there and who wants to talk or whatever else. Let me get my volume turned up a little bit. I have things that seem to be going wrong right now. So that should work. Hopefully that's better for everybody. But anyways, hi, Kathy. How are you? Hopefully my sound is okay. If someone can give me information on that, that would be fantastic to let me know that it's working. But anyways, like I said, I kind of screwed up a little bit today. Had a guest, didn't have a guest, had the wrong guest. Decided not to have a guest at all doing this, but beginning of the new year, everything will be back on pace. I've already talked to that person. Like I said, it is Chris DeCesare, and he will be coming on to talk about, and we'll be able to talk back and forth about what he does and everything else. Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate it. But tonight's open mic night, and this is where, as long as my big old noggin here starts working correctly, you guys can ask me questions. I'll do what I can. I will see what I can do. Hopefully, Spirit feels like talking tonight. We'll see what's going on with it. It's been a very weird, odd few days for me. So we'll see how it happens. But anyways, I'm glad everyone's here. I hope everyone's looking forward to whatever holiday you plan on celebrating coming up here shortly, or are already in the midst of celebrating, depending on which one you celebrate. Wow, I'm already kind of like locking down because I'm hearing stuff. So Nikki and I will be staying local. We have family here in our local area that we go and visit. They'll come to our house Christmas Eve. We'll go to their house Christmas Day, do all the wonderful normal Christmas things that we do. And then we'll move on from there and see how the new year brings out everything that's going on. Other than that, I'm just kind of blabbing, waiting to see if anyone has any questions to kind of start off open mic night. I did get a message from Miss Rosie that she should be showing up too, but we'll see if she does. Rosie, for those people who know Rosie, she unfortunately has not been with us for a few nights because her job switched her to work nights. So she's been working nights, so she hasn't been in here to look up and say hi to everybody. Um, so that's kind of where I am right now. I know you do. Primal tells me, no worries, Tom. I have a shit ton of interesting questions to occupy some time. Um, Nikki is asking me who threw my black angel crystal. So I will tell this story. We have a walk-in closet, and on the back end of the walk-in closet, we actually have a wire like rack with just a lot of shelving rack and everything else, and we have a lot of stuff on top of it. And that's where Nikki has all her jewelry at. It's all sits up in the back, and at the very very back of it is where she has a lot of her crystal angels and stuff like that. And in order to get that angel from the back of our wire area, which actually it's actually not just wire now. There's actually sitting on a jewelry box. But in order to get it to move from the back of that area to the front is a good 2-foot jump, and then to end up in the front of our closet on the ground where we saw it at is about another 5-foot jump. So altogether, that crystal angel went from the back of the wall to the front of our walk-in closet about 7 feet, literally looking like it was thrown because it couldn't have just fell. Because in order for it to get that far, it also had to pass through all of her hanging necklaces and everything else. I actually heard it, but I didn't know what it was because it was as we were going to sleep, and I heard something, and I just figured something fell because it's right past our bathroom and everything else. And I was like, well, that's weird. Maybe just something fell in the bathroom, and we'll see it in the morning. And the next morning, Nikki's like, I wonder what this is doing here, and it was the angel that was all the way at the front of the closet. So she's asking me who threw the black angel. Honey, I don't know. I still don't know. It was interesting. I do have a feeling that something I do have a feeling that something or someone is here with us in our house now. They're very good about hiding themselves. I do not see them as malicious. I do not see them as harmful. I actually see them as a loved one. I'm not 100% sure who it is yet, though, but it's someone who they're not here all the time. And the reason I say that is because at one other point, when we were up in our living room, the lights were out, and there was just enough that I can see like a little bit of looked gray. It wasn't completely black in our living room, so other lights were on other locations, so I could still see enough of the light. And I turned to look where our stairs come up at, so there's no way to stand on those stairs and be that tall. But I saw something peek around the corner from our stairway and then go back behind it and then peek again and then disappear. And I stood there and looked at it twice, and I know what I saw. I know it wasn't a peripheral. I actually saw it, and but it was gone. And it's a quick feel for me, and then it's gone. So that's why I feel it's like someone we know, someone we love, someone who's here just kind of letting us know they're around us. But there's now 2 things they've done. I think they're trying to get our attention in some way, shape, or form. I don't know why. I don't know what for yet. They're not talking to me. They're just kind of pointing out that they're here. And again, I just think it's someone letting us know they're around us. And it's someone that we know. I just don't know who yet. And Kathy said, I heard angels fly. So yes, they do. They absolutely do. Oh, and then I didn't even see Nikki's question, but she says, is this the same person that you saw around the corner of the wall? Yes, that was the same person that I saw around the corner of the wall. I felt the same energy, the exact same vibration as what I did from the crystal when I felt that it was thrown or flew, as we hear. Kathy comes with a lot of them. What do I know about 3i Atlas? Solar flares, new world. The 3i Atlas. So I will tell you some things that I know or I believe I know with Three Eye Atlas. And the reason why I say that is because I have to be careful of how I talk about certain things, also because I still work for the government. Um, so, me, Tom Springer, person, not Tom Springer, government worker, um, believes the Three Eye Atlas is not, it is of nature, but it is not a natural, it's not like a meteorite or a comet that we normally see, but it is made of natural materials. And I believe it came by us as a look. Um, yeah, and I'm getting pretty good strong feelings in my neck, in my head, which is kind of telling me I'm probably on the right page. If it's in my neck, it means it's multi-dimensional or interdimensional. If it's in my head, it means it's this dimension or people from this one. Hello, Miss Zhang. How are you today? But that's 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 kind of all I want to say about the Three Eye Atlas. Is it's a natural it's a natural form, but it's not a natural occurrence. It wasn't something that we were timing. It's not something I don't think this is going to be on a regular pass by us like other comets are and stuff like that. Um, some of the reasons for that is simply because it at times looked like it had a different change of direction, like a propulsion pushed. Rather than just flying through, it did not seem to have a normal tail like a comet does or something along those lines. Um, if you pay attention to where people talk about the fact that it doesn't have a tail, when that was mentioned and it did not have a tail, a couple days later, all of a sudden it grew a tail. So I think it may have been something along the lines that something was hearing us or paying attention to us and mimicking to make sure that we saw it in another way to where it looked more natural. I believe this falls along the same lines as when we see clouds, but the cloud seems to be going the wrong direction or has the wrong shape or it's the wrong tint of color, but we're supposed to believe they're clouds. When I believe it's actually something hiding in plain sight along the same lines. Hold on, let's see. Solar flares. Which one do you want to know about solar flares? We've had some pretty big solar flares. We've had very interesting solar flares that when solar flares head towards the Earth, when we see them pulse towards the Earth, solar flares will normally have the same burst or rotation anomaly, or I don't know a better word for that, but it normally is normally similar when it always does burst a certain way to where it has a location spin or whatever else. But a couple of the last ones have actually hit us on a reverse turn, like the solar flare that comes out, instead of, let's just say, for instance, when it came out, it turned to the left. It actually turned to the right. Now, what that does is that actually counter affects our magnetic system that's out in the atmosphere that helps us protect from the solar flares from hitting the Earth. It almost weakens it, and it almost does more damage to our solar system by altering the way it's attacking us, or not really attacking us, just naturally coming at us. So that's what the solar flares. The solar flares almost seem to be a different pattern from the sun, and I don't believe it has anything to do with the Earth's magnetism or Earth's pull or Earth's gravitation. I think it has to do with the sun altering itself. I think the sun is going through a small alteration on its own, and it's I don't think it's over. I think it's going to continue to happen. The sun adjustment. Sorry, I'm trying to really pay attention to my words here, but the sun adjustment isn't going to be done for probably another 6 to 9 months until it starts refiring, and the solar flares will be more consistent to what we're used to. The New World Um, I'm actually going to hold off on that one because I actually have someone I believe that's going to be coming on later on that we're going to talk about that one. So that will be one for a later guest that I'm going to hold off on. Let's see. Sorry, I missed a lot of messages as that one was up. Um, Primal is asking, what can you share about me seeing distorted elements falling off the periodic table? Um, hmm. Okay, so something that people need to know is that the Earth is also doing its weird thing right now, and I'm going to go scientific a little bit, and I think this is gonna. I don't know if it's going to help answer the question, but it's going to help explain some of the problems the Earth is going through right now. I don't want to say problems, but adjustments the Earth is going through right now. Um, if you so our Antarctic glacial shelf in certain parts are melting. Um, Enough of it has shifted and melted enough that it's very odd how ice floats in water, meaning that water is heavier, even though it's the same thing when it's solid to liquid form. But when the ice melts to water, the water actually becomes heavier. Now, what's been happening to the Earth is enough of it has melted that our Earth axis has shifted slightly off due to the weight of the ice melt. What we're noticing, our polar caps are not exactly north and south. They're not even really here now. They're more like in a mid rotation to where they're going to flip again at some point, all the way around. This is not uncommon. Don't freak out thinking that the world's going to fall upside down. We're not going to fall off the edge of the Earth when this happens. This is a regular natural phenomenon that happens. Sometimes it happens earlier than others, but it's interesting that our rotation is shifting and kind of in a wobble right now because of the weight shift from the ice to the actual water. Um, so instead of doing the circle we see, we're now kind of in a little bit of a wobble. This also has to do with the fact that although it has been over 1 billion years, the moon has slowly been shifting away out of Earth's orbit as well. Now, is that going to happen during our time frame? No, not unless we live to be 1 billion years old. And even then, I don't think it's going to shift out enough to be out of our orbit. I think it's just going to shift enough that's going to affect our tides, and it's going to affect our gravitational pulls and also our protection that we do have from the magnetic pole or a magnetic pulse from the sun. But there's enough going on the Earth right now that I think it's starting to mess up with our natural elements. I think there's two things that are happening, Primal. I think one is the Earth is making an adjustment to basically, I don't want to say dispose of what it doesn't believe it needs right now. I think the Earth is in I don't want to say a survival mode, but it's getting to I'm about to take back over mode, and I don't care what you people think. So I think I think there's a couple of things. One is it's kind of doing that, and the fact that we're doing so much to the Earth that I think that there's certain things that are happening to our natural elements and our unnatural elements that are making them hybrids. Hybrids would probably be a better way to say it. So they're combining rather than just falling off. I'm reading comments and I'm trying to remember. I have two conversations going on in the comments, and so I'm trying to make sure I don't blend them because Kathy follows up with wonder why it changes colors, and I know that one's back to the Atlas. So I'm just trying to make sure that, and then Primal also comes back with part two of that question. Did you feel the elementals change? Yes, there's been a shift in the elementals. They are more urgent. Again, they do not have a conscience like people. They don't care what we think. Again, but they kind of went from tolerating us to kinder to the stage is not caring. We're damaging. We're doing too much. We're affecting, and then now outside sources are affecting the earth enough that the elementals are doing their best to restructure and regain some of the stuff that they have lost. The better way to say it, because they don't have emotions like this, but as a human emotion, they are angry. I got pissed. So yes, there has been a shift, a change in the elementals. I don't want to say they're becoming more aggressive, but they're becoming much more focused, which is hard to believe as much as I already focused on what their role is here and what they're about to do. So I think we're starting to see it when we just saw this big polar vortex happen or start to take place, and it still hasn't broke completely out yet. We're still going to see much worse or much altered weather than what we are now. But it's that's part of the change that's coming with it as well. So what they're going to do, unfortunately, I don't know, but I know that something's happening with the elementals, that they are not, even when I talk to them, they are much more short in their answers, much more curt in their answers, but they're still talking. So that's good. We haven't, that hasn't been surrendered yet. So I hope that Primal helps answer those parts. Kathy, why does it change colors? That's towards the Atlas I3 again, I believe is why you asked that question. That is not nothing that is caused by, that is where it is at in the universe, or where it's passing through in space. Colors will still adapt based off of reflections, refraction of light, old light, very old light, new light as it starts getting closer, whatever else, it does change colors. It's just like when you look up and you see stars twinkle and all that different stuff. As it's passing through different light sources, or reflections or refractions of planets and stars, it will appear to change colors. That is not an unnatural phenomenon. That is a natural phenomenon. So that is why that is happening. All right. Hi, Ingrid. How you doing? So again, I'm just kind of here blah-blahing. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. It's just me tonight, and I will go for as long as we talk, or until I'm just like, nope, I'm tired. But it has been a very interesting weekend. With everything. I think my body is kind of starting to feel everything right now. Weather-wise, I think I might be going through another expansion spiritually. My dreams or my visions, because I'm having both right now, are a lot more vivid. They're not dangerous, but they are becoming more persistent. Excuse me, on a couple things that are showing up, and I don't want to share that yet, but I am having dreams that are becoming more persistent and more regular, and I think they are feeding me information in my subconscious and my unconscious state rather than just when I'm awake. Because apparently when I'm awake, I don't listen very well, which is a true statement. You can ask a lot of people that. I don't listen very well when I'm awake. When I'm asleep, apparently I listen really well. I don't talk back. I don't do any of that stuff when I'm asleep. So if there's any more questions, feel free to ask. I see that we have kind of a small group today, and that's fine. I don't mind. So because it is a small group, I know that there will be other people who watch my recordings. If you have questions when I'm doing this, there's two ways to do this. You can always send them to me, and I will answer them the next time I do one of these shows, which will become more frequent later on down the road. That's a change coming as well. But you can send me messages. You can send me an email. My email's right down here. If you can't hear me, or if you can't see me, but you can hear me, my email is stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So My guest on the 5th is chiming in right now to entertain us with his questions. Mr. Chris DeCesare, as I stated, I made a huge mistake and was not paying attention to the dates, and I had him down for the wrong one. Mr. Chris DeCesare is asking, will I really see you on January 5th? That answer is yes. I have completely made sure. I don't know, Chris, I don't know how much more I can do to make sure that I know you're on the 5th, because I have highlighted your name. I have highlighted the box you're in. I have put fire emojis about it. And I have made sure that it is like a size 48 font compared to everything else that's a size 18 font. Actually, in my SharePoint, in my Excel sheet, so I know when you are coming on, and I know you are coming on the 5th, and I will make sure to have your bio and your images up on the advertisement before the 5th. It'll actually go on next Monday or next Tuesday. Since, like I said, I am home and I have time to actually do some stuff. I'll be out from work. So yes, I will make sure, Chris, that all your stuff is up and running here. Thank you for coming in. Right, I'm telling you, the size 48 font, that I mean, I had it. It went from where like everything was this big to the 48 font, pushed everything out here, and it just says Chris DeCesare right across it. It's fantastic. I'm even thinking about putting like a Superman cape on it to make sure that it really stands out. And I know that that's what it is. So, but for those people who, like I said, who can hear me but not see me, if you want to send me messages, it is at stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. Stuff I Never Learned is all one word. And I will read them off either the next time I'm on and I do something like this, or I will write you back directly and I will answer your questions that you have just straight to you. I don't mind doing that. I'm actually surprised more people don't use my email as much as I offer it than people do. I literally think I probably had like 5 emails in the whole 4 years I've been doing, almost 4 years I've been doing this, where people have gotten a hold of me. Looks like Mr. Joe Punohu is kicking in. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Merry Christmas to you too. So Primal says, I feel as if I am birthing myself. Would that be accurate? It's been a while. I'm going to need you to restate that so I understand it better. I think I know what you're talking about, but I would really ask for you to restate that another way so I make sure I'm going to answer it the way I really want to. Otherwise, it may just all go sideways. So Primal, do me a favor, reword that better for me. As I said, it's open mic night for a couple people who've rolled in. Feel free to come in and talk. Feel free to ask questions. I'll do what I can. As people have known, if you're actually following me and you're seeing all my goofiness, I have found this wonderful new AI app called Sora, Sora, and I have been creating a lot of little 10-second clips, AI clips of things that just randomly pop into my head. But you'll notice that a lot of them have to do with what I talk about on these shows. I show aliens, Bigfoot, werewolf, vampires, gnomes, fairies, a little bit of everything. So if you like those, fantastic. I hope you enjoy them. I try to put out about 1 or 2 a day. It's a little interesting when I'm at work because I cannot have my phone at work because of where I work at. And so I don't actually get to start creating these things, but man, my head fills up fast with ideas when I'm sitting at work. So you may be seeing some very odd ones now that I'm actually going to be out of work for a while and I have all kinds of time to sit around and do nothing. But we'll see how that goes. But like I said, Primal, if you want to reword that for me, I don't know a better way to answer that without you rewording it. Joe, I hope you're doing well. I'm assuming you everything is going well out there. I haven't seen any of you guys pop in for a while, so geez. I'm happy that you're still alive and kicking out there. I'm sure you're suffering with terrible weather like we are here. Actually, our weather here is pretty good. We're in Nebraska, and this week we're in 50s and 60s, so it's not too shabby. But we did have a pretty cold spell earlier than we expected to. What we thought would be between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it did get down a little bit colder than what we're used to during that time frame as well. So I'm at about 30 minutes. It seems like we're kind of out of questions. So I may go ahead and just close the show down early. I'll leave it up for a couple more minutes to see if any more questions come in. Um, oh, there you go. Now I understand. Yes, Primal, thank you for rewording that. That is what I wanted. I just wanted to make sure I was hearing it correctly in my head. Primal says, I'm pulling in all aspects into form to birth a new version of myself. Homo luminous. Absolutely. You are correct on that one. When you start recognizing, as you have, and this is why I'm saying this, when you start recognizing shifts in the elementals and the distorted elements, sorry, I'm drawing blanks for it. I'm actually listening while I'm talking at the same time. And the distorted elements, you are right now in a shift to where that is going to be more of a focal point of your rebirth. But it's not a total rebirth. It's almost like it's a I don't want to say a new version of yourself, but it's like an addition to. I don't think it's a total rebirth. I think it's just an add-on. It's almost like if you lost a limb and they replaced it with one better, stronger, faster. I know that's a weird analogy, but that's kind of how I see it in my head. So it is I don't want to say an improved version of yourself because you're already pretty damn fantastic. But it is new additions. It's something that you have known, but now you're going to get much better clarity for it. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you for that. Much better clarity in how you're seeing it now compared to how you're going to see it over the next 3 months. So I think that's where it's going to go from here. And Kathy says, like, going from third to fifth dimension for Primal. Yes. I think she's starting to see more. I mean, she already sees so much. You don't understand. I mean, I don't want to share too much, but Primal is a fantastic, and I'm going to use this word very lovingly, Primal. So don't be angry with the way I say it. But Primal is a very enhanced, very blessed, very knowing creature that is here, and just furthering and just advancing. But now it's going to be a shift to where something new is going to be added as well, or a better understanding of it, more clarity of it. Hawaiian, let's see. Doing great, dude. Been busy. Glad you're still doing this. Love to see you. Appreciate it, brother. Much love. Okay, so he also has a question. I tend to get this question, and I'd love to get your take on it. People who can see the future in dreams, why or how or both? People who watch others die weeks before they do, they always ask me. And then he says, why do they have this gift? So some people have this gift, and I will tell you right now, not everybody sees it as a gift. Some people see it as a haunting. They don't want to see the death. They don't want to see the darkness. They don't want to see this happening to their loved ones or their friends, or even people they don't know, but they can see it happening in dreams or whatever else. And a lot of times they'll see it, if it's someone they don't know, as someone they're about to meet, or just pass by. They'll recognize them from the dreams and like, oh man, this person is about to pass. Now the fight with that is, if you don't know me and I don't know you, but in my death dream, I recognize you and I know that you are going to die Do you want me to come up and tell you? A total stranger saying, hey, by the way, I saw this vision of you, and um, this is how you die, and I see it within the next 6 months. I mean, that's the kind of pressure that some people put on themselves when they have this. To me, that answer is no. And that's a personal opinion. That's a personal Tom Springer. If I have that ability and I can see people who are going to see other people pass, I don't want to be that person to go up and tell them, hey, by the way, you're passing. Nor do I want to have someone come up to me who doesn't know me and say, hey, by the way, 6 months you're dead. I don't want that. That completely interferes with what we call free will. Now, would that adjust my free will? Would that let me say, well, Tom told me I'm about to die, so what I was going to do today, I'm going to alter it. But does that guarantee I don't die because I altered something, or did he see it because he told me and I altered it? Or if I stay on that path, would I have been just fine? So there's a lot of perplexities with this that I have a friend who does this, who can see this. And talking to her, she has accepted it. She talks about the darkness with the light. She does not shy away from it. But she also just doesn't come out and tell them, hey, you're going to die. For her, it's a moral dilemma that she fights with daily. Why does she have it? I think it's because she's one of those who I think a lot of us who do readings for people and who can see into the future, to call it that way, don't want to see the death side. I think it's a subconscious thing we do to ourselves to not see that side of it. I think those who do see it are just the same as the rest of us who have the ability to see into the future, but they have a understanding that that's also part of their path. I believe that if I were to accept that role for me, that if I were like, okay, look, I can see into the future, I can tell a lot of things. If I said, now include the death part of that to me, and I focus on that, I will have that. I think it's a subconscious choice. I don't think it's something I don't think it was left up into our soul contracts or anything else. I think this is one of our choices once we learn we have the abilities, because everybody can have abilities. Everybody can have abilities. And I keep telling people this, and people want to tell me no. Everybody has some form of ability, even to the smallest degree that you don't even pay attention to. And I keep using the same example because I do it all the time. And I finally stopped fighting it, and I actually started listening to the voices that were actually telling me what I was supposed to be doing, and I was ignoring them. I would crawl into bed, and I'd be like, you know what? I should probably go put this somewhere that I'm going to remember to grab it in the morning when I leave for work. Otherwise, I'm going to forget it. And then my ego side says, nah, I won't forget it. I remember where it is. I'll remember it in the morning. And then I get to work and I go, son of a, yep, should have moved it because I forgot it. And now it's sitting at home, and now I don't have it. And if I would have listened to myself and took in the 10 seconds to get up in the morning when my voices were telling me in my head that I should go put this somewhere that I'll remember to grab it, that's literally your spirit guides, your inner self, you telling you to go do this so you don't forget it. That is an ability. A lot of people realize that they don't pay attention to that, and there's numerous times when they go, I really wish I would have done that the first time. I really wish I would have listened to myself when I said that the first time. I have just gotten to the point to where I start to say it in my head. I just instantly get up and start going to do it. It's just the way it is. I know it's for a positive for me. It's not. They're never going to tell me something that's not going to help me. It's always going to be something that's going to help me, especially when it's something that small. So I know I kind of squirreled right there. Sorry, Rosie wasn't here for that one. But I believe that if I were to allow myself to open and accept, I can do dark readings, I can see people's deaths, I can do this, I can do that, that would become part of me. It would become something I could learn to do. Um, and I think it's something that we have the ability to do, but I think the people who do it probably didn't ask for it, but they were once they knew they can do it, they're like, okay, I'm accepting of this. I'm okay with this. It sucks a lot of times, but there's a lot of good that comes out of it too sometimes for some people. So um I think that's the to tell a really long story and keep it long, because I definitely didn't turn it short. Joe, I think that's my take on it. Is that that's why people can see the death or the dark side of it, is because they're us, but they've accepted that side of it, and I'm not accepting that side right now. I saw way too much death and everything in person when I did my job. I don't want to see it before it happens, in someone else's life right now. So that's a big fat no for me. But like I said, we know people. Nikki and I know people. We've investigated with people who have the ability to do stuff like that. So, and they're accepting of it. And some of them even carry some of it around with them that I can actually see on them, but I can't see what they see. So I hope that helps. Um, yeah. And then Joe says, yeah, I can't find a happy response or a positive, productive one past enjoy the time left, unique perspective, and all that. Absolutely. Some people may want to know, but again, if I tell you you are dying, if I tell you, Joe, and completely speculative, this does not have any role in it, I'm simply role playing. Joe, friend, I see you dying in 3 weeks. And all of a sudden you're like, well, if Tom hadn't told me that, whatever I do in the next 3 weeks, I was going to die. But now that Tom told me that, is anything that I adjust going to save me from dying in the next 3 weeks? Or was it me telling you that you're going to die in 3 weeks, adjust you into that path that you're going to run into where you die in 3 weeks? So it's a very slippery slope when you start playing those games and start having to be responsible for that side of things, if that makes sense. But yeah, thanks for the question, Joe. I appreciate that one. I haven't had anyone ask me stuff like that before to me, but I'm glad you asked, because hopefully it made sense to and helped a lot of people, whether you're watching it now or you're watching it later. So let's see. What else do you want to know? What else do I know that I can tell you out loud and still have a job left that I can share with you? That's a good question. So the crystal angel. So you said bring that crystal angel out for conversation. The black crystal. It's actually, I believe it's an obsidian angel, or it might be a tourmaline angel that is upstairs in the back of the room. So again, this crystal angel flew off of the back of our area. It flew about 7 feet, and it definitely had to fly because it could not have just dropped off and rolled 7 feet. Nikki says, I believe it's black obsidian. I thought so too when I saw it. But it did not happen to just fall over and then trickle 7 feet away. If it would have just fallen over, it would have just fallen on top of all of her other jewelry. It did not. There's no way, shape, or form it could have made it from one place to the other without someone grabbing it and tossing it in that direction. Because like I said, I heard it. I heard it hit the ground. I did not know what it was. I just thought it was something around the sink, maybe fell into the sink or whatever else in our bathroom. But then when we saw it, she's like, why is this over here? And then I realized that's what I heard the night before. I still believe that is someone in my house, not full time. I believe they bounce around. I do believe it's someone who is a relative of ours. I actually believe it's a relative of hers more than it is mine, of Nikki's more than it is mine. Um, I know right now upstairs she just heard me say that. Now her mind's going a mile a minute, want me to figure out who it is. Um, but and the reason I say that is because I just feel like I would feel my loved ones if it was mine. Um, I think they show themselves, excuse me, to me more simply because they know I can see them. And I think that's why I heard it and she didn't, was because they knew I'd hear it. But I think they're using me as that middle area to kind of try to connect, but they're not talking. They're just simply letting me know they're there. Um, but they're not here all the time because if they're here all the time, I will feel them. That's why I believe it comes in and out. That one being comes in and out. Uilani Ku'ule, everybody. Hello, Miss Uilani Ku'ule. How are you today? Um, so I found out, I don't remember, but I came across something today, which was very interesting to me. Give me 1 second, young lady. Say, there it is. Um, so I found out today as I was looking things up. Sorry about the pause, but Uilani Ku'ule, at the end of your name, Ku'ule, is a term of endearment in Hawaiian. I did not know that, um, but it came across today and something I've been looking at. Um, I don't know why I was looking up something, and then all of a sudden just Ku'ule popped up, and I was like, why would that just pop up? And I went, oh, that's the end of Uilani's name, like Uilani Ku'ule. And then I saw that it said term of endearment. I saw that it also said something like a garland of flowers or something along those lines, and I was like, wow, that's okay. So why am I tapping into Uilani this morning at work of all things? That's where I tapped into you at when I was at work this morning, and it just popped up on my screen when I was kind of looking at messages and everything else. So there you go, Uilani Ku'ule. I had thought about you this morning, and you actually showed up on my screen. So it was just the last part. It was just the Ku'ule that popped up. So Joe actually posted, you've dealt with hauntings and negative entities before. What about living hauntings? Where living person sends something bad to you, either consciously or subconsciously. Absolutely. Those are, some people call them curses. Some people call them spells. Um, some people will send, they will try to trap an entity and then send it over to you. A perfect example of this one, Nikki, I'm going to talk about this. This is I'm fighting with this one right now. They're telling me not to talk about it, but I'm talking about it. Nikki and I went to a location to where someone had trapped something into a location with us before we even got there. So we just happened to tap in to unleash it. It was kind of a trap set in a way, to where this being was put into this location, and we kind of opened it. We did not do a seance. We didn't do anything like that. We were there doing an investigation, and next thing you know, we're dealing with this bad entity, and it hurt, not physically but emotionally. It hurt, and mentally, it hurt a lot of people in our team, to where I actually had to grab it. I physically had to take it into myself to help get rid of it. And then I also had to help heal the person who it attacked and jumped. So I've dealt with things like that. I've had to deal with things like that. It's very few and far between. But But why someone would want to do that, why someone is so mad at somebody, why someone hates someone that bad, that that's their form of power that they're going to use and control to try to get back at someone is unfathomable to me. I've and this is coming from someone who used to kill people for a living for work. Um, I would never see me sending an entity to go do something to somebody. And the question isn't because, or the answer to that isn't because I don't want to hurt somebody that bad. I mean, obviously I kill people, so I want to hurt somebody that bad. But it's because in order to do that, you have to surrender a part of yourself to allow that entity to go do your bidding. It's very so that means I'm going to have to surrender something of mine, a piece of me, some kind of agreement between me and that thing to say, go do my bidding for me. Um, it's not something I'm willing to do. If it is so bad that I have to send someone to you, then I am overly obsessed. I need to step back and take a look about what is my problem, not what is their problem at that point. Because if I'm willing to give up a little piece of myself to anything to allow it to go do my bidding, or to will it to go do my bidding, or to make it go do my bidding, I am out of my godforsaken mind to want to do that. Because whatever belongs to me is mine. I'm not giving it up for anybody. It is mine. It belongs to me. This is my life. This is my soul. This is how things work. I'm not going to give a tiniest shred of it to anybody, because what happens if it takes that and it decides it wants to mock me, or it decides it wants to use a little piece of me to doppelganger me, or to be a trickster with me, or to do whatever else using my source I gave it. That's not something I'm willing to risk. And if it ever gets to the point, again, if it ever gets to the point that I am that mad at somebody, I am not going to go take that person's life. I am literally going to take a look at myself and go, why on God's green earth am I this mad at that person? Because there's got to be something wrong with me at that point, where I can't just say, nope, done, good, bye, and just clean my hands off and walk away, which I'm very good about doing right now. Fantastic about doing that right now. That is something that deals with Pisces. By the way, Pisces right here. We don't. I don't have a problem with just walking away. I will just completely separate 100% and never think about you again. I don't have that issue. I do not dwell in the past. I am very good about separation and leaving, and it's a very strong Pisces quality that I am very happy that I have. You're welcome, Joe. He says, well, great perspective. Thank you so much. You're welcome. So let's see. Sorry. Again, squirrel moments, tangents happening all over the place because it's just me, and now I'm going all different directions. So Uilani Ku'ule says, yes, you popped into my head too about 7 a.m., then saw your show as an open mic night, but I was running around, just got home. Perfectly happy that you're here. I don't care how late you were. I'm just happy that you're here. And for those people who can't be here and you're going to see it later, thank you for watching. That's all I have to say with that. Kathy said, deal with the devil. Absolutely. Everybody has their own term for devil. But it's just how it is. Some people are willing to make that deal. I'm not. I won't do that. It's a strong enough belief in me that if it comes down to me summoning something to kill you or something to take my life, to get rid of that, my life is over if I am to the point of that far gone that I need to send something to take care of you. If I can't take care of you myself and I have to send something else for it, and I don't mean death, I mean if I can't separate my thought process away from you enough to get you out of my head, or I can't forgive you enough, even you haven't asked for forgiveness, to let you go, or I just have not decided to walk away altogether from you, then I need to look at me. Don't care. That's all there is to it. I don't need to make that deal with the devil. Uilani Kutule is making me learn new words. She says, "Oh my gosh, I know for us we have kahunas that do that kind of stuff. We don't talk about that." So, yes, I mean there's a lot of different ways that things can be brought about to hurt others. I actually had a guest on a while ago. Um, Her name was Beverly, and she was a hoodoo witch, and she was actually out of California. For those people who remember her, she was fantastic. But she's a hoodoo witch. But she says that she does a lot of the things for good. She helps people um, that that will help heal rather than hurt. But she did say, "Can I hurt you? Can I do the voodoo stuff? Can I do that kind of work? Absolutely. Will I? No." And she said the reason why is because it does take part of her life force away from her when she does that. Um, so so again, that's just something that even people that I know who can do it don't do it. So that's a problem for them. See, Uilani Kutule, same as me. She says, "Yep, March baby here, no problem walking away." Um, Nikki said, "My definitions of kahunas is not the same as Uilani, obviously." So, yes. Which is funny because we always hear the phrase "big kahuna," um, uh, especially for Howleys. We hear "big kahuna" a lot and without the understanding what it means. Um, yes. So let's see. I'm at 57 minutes. We almost made an hour, guys. What else you guys got? I'm actually surprised we went this long because we kind of died down a little bit for a little bit. Um, but then you start asking questions where I can give a lot more random answers and just kind of blah blah for 20 minutes on an answer that probably should have been 3. But that's how I'm going today, so let's just keep going with it. So sorry, I need a drink. What else you guys got? Anything? Nothing? Quiet? Have we heard that there is a huge monster um, life-changing supply of water that has recently been estimated to be discovered underneath the mantle of the earth? Here's my science side again. Yep. They believe that there is a huge, larger than, I mean, equal to at least to our ocean on top of the earth that is underneath the mantle of the earth. And it stayed there because when the heating happened and the cooling happened to form our mantle, the rest of the water stayed beneath, trapped. So there's more water underneath the mantle of the earth. All right. So I'm responding. I'm reading this one because it's Uilani responding to Nicole, to Nikki. She says, "Nikki, yes, there's 2 kinds of kahunas here. I have both tied to my bloodline, but I choose to heal for good only, but I can pull from the other side, but don't touch that at all." Chris de Cesare wants to know, hey, who was your guest on January 5th? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I would like to make the public announcement that on January 5th, 2026, my first show of 2026 at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. I believe you're at 3 out there in Hawaii. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3, sorry, because of the time change. 6 a.m. out in Indonesia, and 9 a.m. to noon the day after out on the 6th of January. My most awesome, most amazing, most fantastic, and most unbelievable guest is none other than Chris de Cesare himself. That will be my man on here talking with me on that show. So much love, Chris. Appreciate it. He just wanted to pop in because for those people who do not know, hey, it is 3. Hey, I got that one right. So for those people who don't know, who came in late, I totally jacked up this entire month. I mean, not just a little, not a tiny, not even just a skosh, not even kind of, but woo, I jacked this one up because I had Chris scheduled in my head to come on January 5th. And I had on another guest, which makes it even worse, to come on today, who didn't come on. And so I decided to do the open mic night. And then Chris reached out to me today and said, hey, aren't I coming on your show tonight? And I went, oh, my bad. So and then I cried and I groveled and I apologized profusely. And then it turns out, as Primal is nice enough to point out, that she heard that Chris will be on the show January 5th. Thank you for pointing that out, Primal. I almost forgot. So I'm glad that you reminded me that Chris is going to be on my show January 5th of 2026, my very first show in 2026, by the way. I should recap this. My very first scheduled show, January 2026. Now, will I be doing one before January 5th? I have no idea. I have a lot of time off. I have so much use or lose to burn from work that I am literally taking like 2.5, 3 weeks off, just so I can use it all up. So I may just be sitting here, randomly walk downstairs to my wonderful office here where I do the show at with all my wonderful Superman stuff behind me, and decide to jump on here just to see who's on to say hi and blah, blah, blah for a bit. So, but the important part out of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, is January 5th, 2026, 7 p.m. Central. I will have on the man, the myth, the legend, Krista Cesare. So, yes, there you have it. As I said, that will be my next scheduled show. All right. What else? So a little after an hour. I can keep going. I was not sharing that with anybody, Nikki. But Nikki is out of work because, you know, she is a teacher, so she will be not there at work. So we will be hanging out. Actually, I'm off Friday because the president was nice enough to give us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off as federal holidays. So Friday, because it's going to be so nice here, I have actual scheduled time to go golfing with Nikki at the end of December in 2025. Will it be my last time golfing in December? Absolutely not, because I also golf this Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, I will be golfing because the weather's supposed to be nice enough. Not supposed to be nice enough here in Nebraska this time of the year, but this year it is nice enough because of the polar vortex that is happening and screwing up all the weather everywhere else. For those people who have not seen, there are locations right now in Japan that have walls built up around their driving roads, and the snow is approximately 65 feet tall. That is correct, 65 feet tall. That is not a made-up number. You can actually look it up. It is in the news. And I know that those out on the West Coast, you are expecting some pretty heavy snow. I believe up to 4 feet over the next couple of days. So enjoy that. Those people who live up in the mountain ranges, like Truckee, Tahoe, stuff like that, it's going to be fantastic skiing and snowboarding weather. That's probably what I would be doing if I were out there. But other than that, let's see. I'm at 103. That was really weird. I saw it. I'm trying to figure out why I saw it. Okay, so here's the question. Because I just saw it. In my camera that I'm looking at right here, as I was talking, I saw a dark shadow pass behind me. It was very quick. It was very just a passing shadow. As I'm looking into the camera, I saw it go behind me in this camera. So I don't know if anyone else of you out there saw it happen, but I saw it in my own camera pass behind me. It was at a 45-degree angle, and it literally just like this right behind me. So pretty interesting. So I think a lot of the talk tonight has probably have stuff wanting to talk to me. I am not really talking to them unless I am asked by you guys. So I'm kind of keeping that tone down. I know they're very excited because I'm not opening because I don't have to. And because you're not asking questions that I need to open for. The questions you're asking me here are literally just spirit guide stuff. Excuse me, they're not loved one death stuff. So I'm keeping all of them at bay, so I don't have to open up to them right now. Everything else is just spirit guide or past life knowledge or anything along those lines where I'm able to answer these questions that I'm giving you answers for. Now, am I confident in them? Absolutely, 100%. You see me stop a lot of times when we do these shows, and you'll see me stop, and it looks like I'm pausing, or I'm that maybe I'm second guessing. I'm not. I'm literally listening. But sometimes more than one spirit guide is talking at the same time, or more than one of my past lives is trying to get into my head at the same time. So I have to stop them and say, okay, stop. I know we all have the answer. Someone just give me a straight answer. And that's what I have to listen to. So that's what I've been doing. That's when you see me do that. You see me pause. You see me hesitate. That's because I'm sorting through the spirit guides or past lives that I know I've done this in before, which is why I have a lot of these answers for you just readily available. It's not because I'm a nerd. Well, I'm caveat that I am a nerd, but that's not why I have a lot of the answers I do. A lot of it is because I've either lived it in the past or my spirit guides give me the answers. Which is funny because a lot of times the spirit guides are literally me just giving me my own answer, in another form, which is kind of interesting to do. But I haven't had to open up to talk to anybody's loved ones, so that's the part I'm keeping at bay right now. So, with that said, I'm in minute 6. I talked for 5 minutes. No one else typed anything out here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and shut down the show for tonight. I appreciate everyone for coming on. I appreciate everybody who's going to watch later. Again, everything that I have talked about, you are more than welcome to reach out and ask me questions. Anything I haven't talked about, and you want to reach out and ask me questions. For those people who are listening but do not see me, you can find me at facebook.com/stuffIneverlearned. On YouTube, you can find me at youtube.com/@stuffIneverlearned. Yes, Primal, I see that. And my email is stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So you are more than welcome to reach out to me, respond to anything about the show, anything not about the show. You have questions. You want to know what's coming on my show on January 5th, you can ask me that. I'll be more than happy to share that before I post the advertisement out. But other than that, Primal is asking, Tom, is a female calling my name Lyran? No. No. I really want to say yes, but every time I try to say yes, I'm being told no. I am being told more along the lines of a Pleiadian, of what then female calling your name is. Sorry, again, pause. Again, for those people who did not hear me mention this before, when I hear stuff from other dimensions, locations, universes, wherever you want to call it, I feel them in my neck and in my shoulders. When they're here, I hear them in my head. The answer I'm getting is in my shoulders, and it says, yes, I am Pleiadian. So that solidifies my understanding. If it was someone trying to fool me in any way, shape, or form, and they were trying to use a starseed form, and it was here, it would end up in my head, not my shoulders. This is in my shoulders and in my neck. So yes, I believe that the person trying to contact you is Pleiadian. I can actually see her, so it's fantastic. That's even more confirmation that I know it's Pleiadian because I can see her, which is interesting that popped into my head. So I hope that helps. Nikki's saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody. I definitely agree with that. Mahalo. This is Uilani Ku'ule. Mahalo. I'll have to catch your replay. I think I might have to send you a message. But thank you, everyone. Stay safe and happy holidays. Absolutely much love to everybody. Again, don't be surprised if I just randomly pop in between now and January 4th before I have my next show with Mr. Chris DeCesare. If you haven't heard that yet, that's my first show of January 5th. And I may just pop in randomly throughout the day and just say hi and see how everyone's doing and make sure everyone's safe and everyone got all the presents they wanted. And if not, then how did you get back at the person who gave you the lousy presents? What are your plans for next time? Whatever else. But other than that, I love you all very much. Thank you for being a part of the family. If you're new to the family, welcome to the family. I always love having the new people on here. And I really appreciate the community that I have and the community that keeps growing. And the fact that you guys share it out because you're appreciative enough that you think it's interesting enough um, to share out to others. I appreciate that as well. So, other than that, have a great night. Have a great couple of weeks. Stay safe. Reach out to me if you need any assistance, except like if you need like a cab ride or anything. That's what Uber's for. I'm probably too far away from you to come be your driver. Much love. I will see you all randomly. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks.